Gary, so how long ago, you've been coming to the center now, you've been a part of this place for about 8.5 years. How long did it take before you really experienced a major shift?
Uh, Not long, not long at all. Uh, there was an opportunity to help volunteer. Just we rent the center, we rent it, so we set up and we take it apart after service. So I just started helping around that, and I had a vision. I said, "This would be really cool to be the president here one day, and just you know uh, offer this to other people." I got so much value out of it. I made a commitment to whatever it took, setting up chairs, whatever. People need a place to sit. Um, yeah, it was just to me. I never had volunteered anywhere before. I'd always heard about volunteering as just a practice. Very rewarding. It's been the most rewarding thing I've ever done. And I just started sharing a little bit. I didn't have money to tithe at the time, so I tithe my time. And then I started learning about that. I'd heard about that in all the books too. It's in all the books, 10%, right? We don't believe in 10%. If 1% is a challenge, do 1%. But get to 10. Get to 10 because 9% is, according to a lot of people, is not tithing. It's 10%. And we're talking the billionaires, Bill Gates. So you look at all of these biographies, they all tithe. And there's so many stories about someone that, only had a couple dollars a day, but they took 10 cents out of every dollar and just gave it to where they were being spiritually fed. And before you know it, I just listened to another story, 6 months, completely changed it, live in their car, completely changed their life. 6 months. So it doesn't take long. And I had no mortgage, and within 2 years I was able to. I didn't even have a credit score, never mind a mortgage, and was able to buy this house with some debt that just disappeared for a little while, so I could get my mortgage, and it came back, and it was okay because I didn't want to avoid it, but I didn't want it to show up when I bought the house, and I didn't know how that was going to happen. I just knew it was going to happen, and it was just another realization of knowing the truth and attracting it to you. Instead of trying to do it, if I tried to pay that debt off, I don't even know what would happen. If I was trying to work all that much, work, all that stress just to do it my way, and I just allowed God to take care of it, and I said I'll take care of it later.
Wow.
So, yeah,
That's got to be that's a big change, man. A lot, definitely not the way that what's normalized, I guess.
I did that treatment about the gas. And within like a month, I don't never have to worry about where the gas was coming from again. The statement was, I'll never run out of gas again. I'm happy it never going to happen again. And, just declared that as the new truth. Like, I'm never going to have to think about this again. I let it go because I was so tied up in that, yeah, I can pay the bills, but I'm pushing to tighten for gas. Somebody wants me to help them, but it's too far. I'm going to run out before the end of the week. It was ridiculous. And now, like I said, I never think about it anymore. So many things. That's one thing. It's my biggest example because it was what I was struggling with most when I first came.
It sounds to me as though you were living in a life of kind of, desperation and survival and learning.
A lot of reacting.
A
lot of reacting to things that were going on. I just
working out for you.
Yeah, I just thought that was what I was supposed to do. But I've also learned that stuff happens all the time, and it's not what happens to you, it's how you react to it.
Oof. That's a golden nugget right there. That one's free, folks.
I had a tree fall on my car, and I was just like, wow, that's amazing. And my neighbor was like, I can't even believe you're just standing here like you are. He was just blown away. And I was like, what am I going to do? The tree's on the car. It's all gone. There's nothing I can do standing right here that's going to change that. So I just said, I'm going to look for the good in this, I had heard that there's good in everything, and I never really had to dig into that one too much until that day. And got a new car, got a new apartment right after that. It was.
That's a great example, Gary. I'd like to just kind of utilize that example right there and you know, speak now before Science of Mind, how would you have reacted, you know, to a car falling on your tree? What to a car falling to a tree falling on your car?
Yeah.
What type of response would you have had previously?
I would just said, I just couldn't even believe it. I'm like, really? You know, I'm trying to be a good person. So I'm trying to make the deal now. Like, I held up on my part. Why can't you take care of this? You know? So I got mad at God even. I was like, I don't understand how you could do this to me. I'm supposed to be doing all the right stuff. And so I got angry at that. I had to let that go too. But I let forgive myself because I only knew what I knew then. So today, you know, I think I had that experience so that I could change. So that pain brings you to a point where you know, you don't have to suffer. The pain's there for a reason, but we don't have to suffer. Yeah, I think about, oh my God, everything would have been done because it was all about how to get somewhere. I would have had no idea, you know.
So that's, you know,
As it worked out, the landlord felt bad because the insurance wouldn't cover it. And I was said, you know, they said it was an act of God. And one of my friends said the act of God was that you weren't in the car. Wake up. You're right. I could have been in that car. I parked it a couple hours earlier, right?
Wow.
Yeah, and the landlord gave me some money for the car. I was able to use that as down payment. I ended up driving a better car. So
Wow. So you got an upgrade.
Yeah.
So it was a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, absolutely.
That seems to be the way that it works once we're, you know, once we can begin to recognize it.
A couple years later, got rear-ended on the highway. I just said, thanks, I'm alive. Thank you. And, you know, now I have a better car than I ever had. There's been an upgrade every time. It's not getting worse.
That's a great example of, you know, taking back the power. We spoke about this earlier, is just learning to take back the power. And when we were speaking about that, what we were speaking about is taking back the power of how to respond to something rather than something causing us to react, right? And when we can have that type of control over ourselves, our attitudes, our minds, our actions, our behaviors, then we begin to really be intentional.
Yeah, so take it to today where, you know, my wife just closed on the studio in Niantic. It's a yoga studio, Niantic Yoga. That place sat there for 2 years and we tried 3 times, but we knew that we were going to have that place on Main Street. And persistence, we didn't give up. We believed that was going to be true. We did our human part. Every few months we go over and see if the place is still available, anything changed. But that was all set up and the place is now, it's beautiful. Main Street. That was my wife's thought. She kind of taught me. She said she wanted to, when she lived in Seattle, she moved here and said she wanted to pay $1,000 for rent and wanted to live near the beach. And yeah, I believe I was a part of that connection too. I was like, wow, you said, because when I saw the place, I was like, you rent this for $1,000? I can't even believe it. And nobody could. So I said, maybe there is something with this. So that's when she waited a little while to see, kind of feel me out before she said, I think you might like, you know, the center.
Wow, that's amazing. Your wife has definitely transformed your life.
Well, yeah, this is my 3rd marriage. I appreciate my second wife, my first wife. So if they catch this, I love you. You know, but it's been 6 years now, and it's just great friendship. And we don't try to change each other. We support each other, and you know, it's quite different.
That's a blessing for sure. So your wife Tara has been amazing for the center. She has definitely helped support, you know, the mission and change the lives. She ran our online platform for quite some time and really helped get us established with newsletter and things like that. So really grateful for her and the role that she's served in your life and as well as at the center as well.
So we got a picnic coming up on the 25th, right? Next month.
Yeah.
So there's more to it than just service, you know.
It's going to be a good time. And Gary, that's located where?
On in Essex, the Petty Bog Yacht Club,
Yeah,
12 to 4. So that's a great time to come by and say hi, introduce yourself.
absolutely.
If you're bashful, we'll come and find you and we'll say hi. It's all good.
Show up.
Yeah.
Outdoor event. It's a beautiful venue. We have all kinds of good food there and good people for sure. We have lots of games, and Reverend Patrick has always done a great stump the Reverend,
Yep. Stump the minister.
stump the minister.
Oh, this was the first service that I've ever been to where the minister said, "Does anybody have any questions? Want to make any comments?" I was like, "What? What are you doing? You know, are you open to that? Somebody could pick your sermon." He didn't care because it's the truth. There's no. So when you said I want to do, you know, you'd like to interview, I said, well, I don't really want to know the question. I would have over prepared that, and I would have just. I'd rather have a conversation.
I respected that, you know, and when you told me that, I was like, you know, you want me to come up with some questions and tell you them in advance? You're like, nope, I don't want to know them. Just wanted to just let it flow. And, you know, again, that's another great example that, you know, we learn in this place is to just trust the process, right? Trust what happens and have faith that what happens is the right thing. We don't need to overanalyze or worry or stress or perfectionize, you know. So I was like, right, that's awesome. Right on. Totally all about it.